Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Eloa here, and I'm stoked to bring you another Dreamsnap tips and tricks video. Today, I'm featuring the most commonly asked questions by new or newly returning players. There are a lot of features and functions in camera mode right now, so if you're new to Dreamsnaps or back from a long hiatus, this video is definitely for you. Remember, if you find this content valuable in any way, please subscribe. It goes a long way in helping this full-time content creator and ensures that you get first dibs on all my cozy gaming content. That out of the way, let's get going with these Dreamsnap how-tos. Ever wonder how folks are getting their characters close to the camera? Not selfie mode, but closer than second position? There's a trick, a kind of glitch for that. There are certain items that will push the camera forward. The most common items are Jafar's alchemy table, Oswald's car, and the large sunlit plateau rock. I prefer Jafar's alchemy table because it has a smaller footprint, and its shorter height means it won't cast a shadow. However, if you don't have Eternity Isle or haven't completed Jafar's quest for this item, you'll have to use the rock. Here you can see how the table pushes the angle forward. So I'm closer to the camera than I was in regular second position, but it doesn't look like a selfie either. It takes practice to get the distancing right, so I often go through a few minutes of trial and error before I hit the sweet spot. One other thing I want to point out is that sometimes the push can make your avatar a bit blurry. You can, of course, adjust the distance between you and the prop, or if you're happy with the closeness, just adjust the focus by 1 or 2% in the slider. Now, I've never used this trick before, but rumor has it that we can use this same trick inside. Oswald's card does, for some reason, count as indoor decor, so if you have it, use it. Otherwise, Wally's shelf also pulls the same trick. Well, let's find out. I want to take a quick peek at my favorite hero, Dreamsnap, to alert you all to something else you might need to take into consideration when setting up your prop. With this particular pose, I had an added challenge, that of Khan, my companion horse. Not only does he push you to the left and back, but he does so inconsistently. So this took a lot of trial and error. So bear that in mind when working with a companion who shifts your position in any way. Which brings me to number 2, poses with your companions and how to hide those companions. I do see a lot of questions about how players get certain poses. So here it is. Pose with a companion and hide them. These are just a few examples that I use, but play around with it and see what kind of creative poses you come up with. All right, last but not least, characters, trapping characters, and using Touch of Magic. A fairly new-ish feature to the game is the ability to place and pose villagers. Unfortunately, this function is not as intuitive as all that, and you really have to wang-jangle the system to make it work. First, take a look at how it works using the default system. Villagers are placed willy-nilly across the screen, and there's no way to control placement. Here's the workaround. First, if you watched my previous Dreamsnap video, I go into why staging snaps on floating islands is preferable. I'll link to that in the description below. But here's my other reason. On a floating island, you can call the villagers you want to the scene. Keep in mind, this will only work if they're not at home, Scrooge's, or a restaurant, in which case you'll have to ask them to hang out and bring them to the scene. Next, you're going to push them into the spot you want and trap them with a touch of magic. Make sure you stop hanging out with them, otherwise they won't do their photo pose. Now, it's unfortunately a bit of a waiting game to get them to do the pose that you want, but the second they do, push pause on pose and placement and they'll be completely frozen. Then, before you snap, you toggle off Touch of Magic and take your photo. I'm making this look a bit faster than it really is, but being 100% honest, I'll say that I've sat and waited for nearly an hour trying to get multiple characters to do what I want. Okay, I know this may have only scratched the surface for some, so you tell me, what questions do you have about Dreamsnap? What techniques would you like to see covered in future videos? Let me know in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for all my fun, cozy content. See you in the next one.